following podcast is brought to you by Astro Panda Productions. For more information or to find other great shows, visit astropandaproductions.com or visit the Astro Panda Productions page on blogtalkradio.com.
Hello and welcome back to episode 14 of the Pop Collectors Alliance podcast, ECCC Revisited, and the last time you will hear those letters this year, I promise. Well, I'm your host, Rick, and I am not joined by my co-host, Captain Strongbeard Piper. He is away on vacation, but he will be back next week. And just as the title says, this is me going over my ECCC experience. As you know, this is the only podcast on the internet dedicated to returning collecting to the Pop Collector. And as always, when you enter the Pop Collectors Alliance podcast, you are also entering the no flip zone. Never gets old. So I want to start this week out as we do every week, my weekly pickups, and where do I begin? Oh man, there's so many. And I put up on Facebook last night, my Emerald City Comic Con packages came in from everything I got there. And it was, it's over 70 pops, I think is my total takeaway from that convention. And it was a great experience. It's just expensive to send those boxes back. I went to the convention hall and they have like a FedEx in every convention hall that I've been to pretty much. SDCC sort of has one in the hotel adjacent to the convention hall, and one in the convention hall as well. New York City Comic Con, there's tons of places. But I went to FedEx to ship everything out, and the Funko booth put out these 36-pack boxes. They're called a case for the pops that they sell. And I used 2 of those to pack an entire set of all my pop. And I took that down to the FedEx shop, and they're like, hey, man, that's going to be a lot of money. And by a lot of money, when I get stuff ordered directly from Funko or other places, they typically have sort of a negotiated rate on what they can send you and how much it is. And I've never seen anything really go over about 30, 35 bucks, maybe 40 if it's heavier stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, $70, $80 tops. I get it. I've dealt with it. So the guy rings everything up and he measures it all. And the next thing I hear is $271. And I was like, is that for next day air? And he goes, no, man, that's just pushing it out here. And I'm not saying FedEx has the worst rates. Maybe it's just because it was on a Sunday and there were tons of people in line and it was at the convention hall and it was just because of the convenience factor. And I've sent things through FedEx from San Diego Comic Con and I didn't pay that much. And it was a great success. I didn't have anything damaged. So I'm not passing the buck on to FedEx and saying you're to blame. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing this. So I found a Staples, and most Staples have a UPS section in there. And I packaged everything up, and it cost me about $120 some to ship back. So that wasn't bad. Spread across all the items, cost per item was not that significant. So I'm grateful for that. So everything I got from Emerald City Comic Con, everyone pretty much knows because every night I went and showed everybody. I pretty much got everything that was at Funko HQ and everything that was at the convention hall. The only thing I missed was some of the Funko Shop items. I didn't get all the Funko Shop, like the Freddy baseball player that was on the Funko Shop, or Pulpo that was on the Funko Shop. I didn't get either of those really, or anything for that matter that was just specific to the Funko Shop. While I was out at Emerald City Comic Con, Hot Topic decides to do a Hot Topic thing and release all of the Avenger sets. And I'm a mystery mini collector too. And the problem is when exclusives release and there's 1 in 72 exclusives, everybody goes and buys it up immediately. It doesn't even, you don't get a breath of air and all the boxes are gone because people are trying to get those exclusives, and even flippers are trying to do that too. So you have to deal with the flipper and you have to deal with fellow collectors. And if you're not there when it releases, you're not getting it. As I found, I got lucky and I did pick up Bucky, which is a Hot Topic exclusive at 1 in 36. So that was good. Unfortunately, I was hoping to get a box. I normally buy an entire box so I can do an unboxing video, but this time I wasn't. And a lot of the pieces in this Avengers collection set are 1 in 6. I think 4 for that matter. So in one box, there's just 4 duplicates every time you buy a box. So that's kind of frustrating, but I didn't get that. I also didn't get Hulkbuster. I had a couple friends that were willing to help me out. They sold out very fast. There was one opportunity, but it kind of had a little bit of damage on it, so I passed. But I was able to get it at ThinkGeek, so that was really huge. Also, I did an amazing trade this week thanks to Jeff. If you're listening to the podcast, you know who you are. Freddie Funko Sting and Chase 8-Bit Joker. And if you follow us in the Facebook groups, you'll know who he is. So great guy, smooth transaction. I really like the Freddie Funko Sting. It's one of the pops I've had my eye on for a while, and I was glad to get it. Now, the only 8-bit Chase that I have remaining is the Raiden, the 8-bit Raiden. So I've originally said I'm not going to collect all these 8-bits, but I kind of got them over time. So now I'm like, hey, if you got a Raiden 8-bit Chase, let me know. We'll work something out. Also, I was able to get the Serial 3-pack again. I had it once. I traded it away. I got it back. That's the one that was on the Funko shop that consisted of Lucky from Lucky Charms, Tricks, and I didn't know what the Cuckoo Bird's name was. So I put in my show notes, Jeffro, the Cuckoo Bird. I have no idea what his name is. But then I Googled it and it was Sunny. So Jeffro, the Cuckoo Bird, that's what we're going with. And then mystery boxes from 2016. I looked at GameStop and they were having this great deal on things like buy one get one half off or buy one get one free. I forget what it was, but they were the 2016 mystery boxes, and that was the ones that came with Power Ranger, Mega Man, and Vegeta and company. So they announced the sale, and I was like, man, I really want to go and check those out. I know one store that sells them still, and I went there, and it's like sort of on the GameStop ThinkGeek combination stores in our area. And they had 5 left. So I was able to get 5 of them. I opened them. There are some Vegetas in there. And just so everyone knows, cost plus shipping animation and those boxes that we're sending out are animation themed. So I was able to get some good deals at great prices to help everyone out. And I think that pretty much sums up my pickups this week. I know Piper picked up Faker and Cinderella and took them on a journey long through time, a journey on a cruise ship, and took a bunch of pictures. So that was pretty cool to see that go down. If you haven't checked them out, you can check them out on, I think, Instagram and Facebook. It's pretty cool what they did, taking those pops along with them. And then you can also check out the Flat Piper series. I took that Flat Piper around the entire convention, and everybody looked at me like I was just a weirdo. Like, what's this guy walking around with his cardboard cutout? And believe me, I did that last minute. We got the file there and I went to Staples and printed it out. And then I was like, man, I need a piece of cardboard to put him on. So I got a box top of paper from the printer paper they have at Staples. And then I cut it out to match Piper. I cut Piper out. And I was doing arts and crafts in the lobby of my hotel with scissors, cutting it. And everybody, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I'm taking this. This is my co-host. He couldn't come along with me. And then they looked at me like I was a serial killer or something. And unfortunately, they didn't understand, but it's all good. When I got to the convention hall, people loved it. Flat Piper was a huge success there. And even the Funko Funcast crew thought it was awesome. They even took pictures with me holding them. And then, as you've seen on Instagram and Facebook, they took a picture with Flat Piper. So Flat Piper had an amazing journey. I had some time lapses with him in there. I had tons of pictures, so you can check it out on Instagram and on Facebook and Twitter, wherever you see us on social media, and check out some of Flat Piper's adventures. And maybe for SDCC or NYCC, if Piper can't go, or maybe even if he can go, we'll bring Flat Piper with us and take pictures, because, man, I had a great time doing it. Now, before we get to announcements, I want to talk about one thing. And Piper, it's something that I did while I was there that I saw, and I'll get to it in the bulk of the Emerald City Comic Con review. But I was able to pick up an extra green chrome Batman for Piper. and it's just a gift for him. I saw people doing some stuff that I'll get to later and explain why, but I did, in fact, get an extra green chrome or emerald chrome Batman for him. So congratulations, Piper. Everyone can clap while you're listening to the podcast. He's doing backflips in the air as he hears this. But it was just something I wanted to do, and I saw other people doing some shady stuff there. So I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger, and we were able to get one. And I have a special shout out I want to do at the end of the episode for everyone that helped me out while I was there and just push their social media so that everyone can follow them too. So I was able to get him that. Announcements for this week. Announcements. We are doing a cost plus shipping event, and it is animation themed. And there really isn't a firm date right now. So I'm just going to revert to saying you should hear something on our social media very, very soon as to if it's next week, the week following, or the last week of April. We have so many things coming up, so it's going to be really hard to sort of pin down an exact date, but it will be. If it's just me and it's Pixel Ricken, we'll do it together. We will do what we have to do, but I will get you a date this week. Unfortunately, I can't get it to you now. We need to make sure that Piper's back from his cruise, and you can't really talk on a phone when you're out on the boat in the middle of the sea. So look for posts this week on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as to when our next live cost plus shipping event will be. But it will be in the month of March and 1 week. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, guys. We're also planning to do a live pop swap that we're going to put together in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm trying to nail down a place. It will be in mid to late April, and maybe we can make it coincide with our next April cost plus shipping event. So that would be a great opportunity to sort of combine this neat pop swap. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can come and join us. I want to make this big. I want to make this grow. I want to make it successful. So there's going to be more to come on that. Also, Fan Expo Dallas, we have confirmed we are going to attend this event. Just an announcement there. I've got 2 booths. We're going to do one that is pushing our podcast and building the alliance. So if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you're planning to attend Fan Expo Dallas, which is the big convention in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, stop by and see us. I don't have an official booth number yet, but I'll put that out there when I get the booth number. We will have some pop for sale at good prices that will be below pop price guide value. And as always, the no flip zone. So you can expect good prices there. I always kindly remind everyone that when I do a convention, it does cost a lot of money to be there. And I'm very transparent in how much it costs. It cost me over $2,000 to do this event. So if you see something that is marked up maybe $3 or $4, please know that it's not that I'm trying to make a huge profit off of you and gain some money based off of you purchasing something for more than it's worth. We try to put everything below pop price guide value, but again, we have to pay for our spot there, and it's crucial to the success of the alliance that we continue to build it, and building costs money. So know that I'm not marking them up for any reason other than getting support for what we do and paying for my spot at Fan Expo Dallas. And I would really love to see people there because Fan Expo, there's a ton of guests there this year. They always do an amazing job. And as we get closer to the event, it's April 6th through the 8th in Dallas. It's a great event. And if you haven't been before and you're from the area, I highly recommend that you go. Stop by our booth. We're going to be doing giveaways. We're going to be talking about the alliance. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, and especially pop as always. And one thing that is for certain, we are centrally focused on building the alliance, adding more members, getting more people to help us out. So look for more to come on Fan Expo Dallas, April 6th through the 8th. Check it out. You can go to, I believe it's fanexpo.com or fanexpodallas.com. And either way, you can Google search it. We live in 2018 now. Yeah, that's what it is. You can Google search something. My friend always tells me as we grow older and the years go by, it's 2018. If someone asks you a question like, hey, do you know what this is about? He says it's personal irresponsibility to have not Googled it first before you ask someone. So I don't know if that's true. I don't live by that code, but he does. So I always think it's funny. the last thing in the announcements is Patreon. Everyone who signed up, we have filled our goat boxes, and we are building our grails as we speak to get them out to people in June. I believe the first one for that box will come out in June with your big box. And this month, at the end of the month, you will get your small box. So being part of the GOAT, you get a small box, a medium box, and a extra large box. So look for that to come in the mail by the end of this month. And hopefully we knock it out of the park. I was able to get a lot of good stuff for this, and the value that you're getting is incredible. So I'm excited to get these boxes out. We are almost completed with our packing process. We're getting t-shirts out to people too when Piper gets back. It's, again, vacation sort of puts everything on hold for a small bit, but be rest assured your t-shirts and everything will be sent to you. We will get in contact with you very shortly. And the last announcement is the special code for the Cost Plus Shipping listener only drawing. You need to email us before the date, but you can just go ahead and do it now because there's nothing to worry about for the next week, at least until our next episode. The special code for this month's live Cost Plus Shipping listeners only drawing. Last month it was really awesome, and we only had a small amount of people in it. So, man, it's a great chance for you to win something if you're looking for it. That code for this month is Goku. Goku. If you're not familiar with who Goku is from Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, all of the above. Goku is spelled Goku. Goku. I sound like a teletype or something. But all you have to do is enter that code into an email to info@popcollectorsalliance.com. Put Goku and your name, and we will get you entered into that listeners only drawing for the next live Cost Plus Shipping event. And it's great because last time I believe we only had 4 or 5 entries. It's a great chance to just win an extra item. So Goku to info@popcollectorsalliance.com with your name, and you will be entered in the next drawing. Well, news for this week. Let me go over this. Toys R Us. Oh my goodness. What is going on? The proverbial cow dookie has hit the fan. And as Piper said, it looks like everyone is going to get their Pokemon cards and severed Barbie head severance packages, unfortunately. And that's nothing funny to laugh about, but I love the way that Piper just pulled that out of nowhere for what a severance package at Toys R Us looks like. Toys R Us is planning on closing all of its stores now. We don't know what the final decision will be. Guesses or estimations put that they're going to announce something on Monday. I don't know if that's the case, but man, that went from bad to worse ever in T-minus 2 weeks, man. What is wrong with Toys R Us? I read into this a little bit, and it said basically Toys R Us is carrying $5 billion. That's billion with a B. $5 billion of debt. And they filed for bankruptcy protection last year. And typically when a company files for bankruptcy protection, what happens is a buyer will come in or an investor will come in and sort of rescue them. Well, Toys R Us' problem is that no one wants to rescue them because over this, I don't know, 3 or 4 year span where they haven't made any profit and they've gone deeper and deeper in debt, they are spending so much money on the interest of their debt to stay afloat that they can't reinvest money in their businesses. Now, personally, what I would do is everyone is fighting against Amazon right now and the prices that they offer. Well, you have to set yourself aside from Amazon. You have to take a step back and think, well, what can we do that changes it? Now, in Toys R Us's case, they can't really invest money because they're paying all their interest payments and they're drowning in that debt. But what I would do is I would take like the Lego section and make that into an interactive section and take the video game section and hold tournaments, do card tournaments, do anything under the sun that involves people taking things out of a box and seeing what it is. And if you just spend that extra money, I don't know how much it'll be. You take 2 Lego sets out and have people build them, or the Lego store does an awesome interaction with their customers when they have little race car tracks or things that they put out there, and you can build your own little Lego minifigures. They do an awesome job of that, and that's what sets you aside from Amazon. And unfortunately for Toys R Us, they just haven't been able to get their head above water. They can't get investors in. They just can't make it right now. I mean, they can't pay their interest payments. And to go back to what I said 2 weeks ago, they're receiving bonuses. Their executives are right before $8.2 million, right before they filed for bankruptcy. These are the type of moves that just baffle me. Now, I know that executives need to get paid a certain amount of money to enable them to be motivated to do their job. And that's universally across the board because they all say, oh, I need my golden parachute. I need all this money. I get that. It's just the way the world is going to be. But in this case, you don't deserve any bonus. The word bankruptcy and bonus do not mix. And kind of don't feel bad for the executives for making those decisions and not putting that money back into the business. But I feel bad for the average employee because they're the ones that are going to bear the load of this decision and this closure of all the stores. As for Pop, oh my goodness. If you are near Toys R Us, try to go get that big Funko figure. They put that big Funko classic Freddy in the Pop section. And if your store closes, try and get it. I've seen conflicting reports where people went in and they said that there's a licensing issue and that Funko requests that those go back to Funko. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm going to every Toys R Us in the area and I'm trying to get that Freddy Funko sitting on top of the Funko section. I'm just going to go in and be like, hey, you know what? I know you're mad and upset. Your bucket of Barbie heads came in and you're really kind of pissed off. But I need that Freddy Funko. Let me slip you $100 under the table. And if it disappears or winds up in somebody's car, don't worry about it. I just think in my head that somebody's going to get that and they're just going to put it on the top of their car like an ice cream truck. And yeah, then they're going to get busted. I'm not going to do that. And I don't recommend that any of you do it if you get it. Don't put it on the top of your car. It's like a little Funko thing, like a Funko ice cream machine. You drive around and sell people Pop out of your car with this big Freddy duct tape to the hood of your car or the roof of your car driving around. I'm desperately trying to get that, and we'll see what happens. Bots everywhere and not a drop of Pop to drink. Now, that's what I said 2 weeks ago, and I can reiterate that now. Walmart is getting botted. The Funko shop has got botted once again. Now, there's conflicting descriptions on how this happened. People going around CAPTCHA, and a lot of these bot users are saying, good, put CAPTCHA in there because it's going to make everyone else slow to the table. And it did me too, because I was in the line, and as soon as the Emerald City Batman released, I went right to that. I didn't put a Bigfoot in my cart. I didn't put a baseball Freddy in my cart. I put an Emerald Chrome Batman in my cart, and I checked it out. And I didn't get there. I didn't get it because I had to go to the CAPTCHA and verify I wasn't a computer. Little did I know in the background, what you could do is bypass the CAPTCHA simply by going into a transaction and backing out of it. So let's say you put something in your cart, you went to check out, like a Dorbs or something. You didn't check out, but you did the CAPTCHA. So you go in and you go all the way to that point where you do the CAPTCHA and it sends you to the payment screen, but then you back out. If you stayed on the Funko webpage, it didn't require you to do CAPTCHA again. And I'm thinking that the bots can either circumnavigate that or they did it that way. And I think the Funko shop is Shopify. I think it's a Shopify account. And I'm seeing that more and more with bigger businesses. They got these Shopify accounts and you're processing orders through Shopify, like I don't know if Toy Tokyo, but like Gemini or Fugitive Toys. A lot of people are using the Shopify platform, and man, I don't know if it's bot friendly or not. And I'm not putting Shopify under the bus here, but dude, it seems like every time people are getting stuff with bots, and just like Piper and I said a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, if there's a will, there's a way. And if you're telling me a Pop is selling for, I don't know, what is it? $400-$500 right now. People are going to find a way to exploit that, and they have. Unfortunately, there was a user that put up on Twitter, I forget what his name is, or Instagram rather, and man, he just put a picture of all of the Batman. We put it on the Facebook group. It's just disheartening to see that there's 80 Batmans there and you're not going to get them because some jerk is selling them at a huge markup and got most of them. But much like a serial killer, I'm not going to give them the glory and fame. I'm not going to mention their username so they can just suck it and take their Batman, and I hope they burn up in a fire or something. Not the person, but the pop. I'm not wishing death on anyone, but I'm wishing death to all those green chrome Batman. I hope they end up in a big green pile of mush and melted vinyl in a basement or something somewhere, because it's just frustrating sometimes. And it was frustrating in Emerald City Comic Con. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here when we get to the review, but it's not even for the fact that people make money. And everyone knows that this is the no flip zone. And I always hold to that on this podcast. But if you listen to the first episode and how we identify flipping and the things that happen, in this case, it's just greed. It's someone who wants to make tons of money. I get it. And people do things for reasons. And if it's true, let's say that the screenshot I saw was 81 of them were ordered. If that's the case, if that's the truth, then they sell them for $500 a piece, which I personally hope that they don't. But if they do, that's $40,000. That's more money than people make in a year. And it's just that level of greed that's disheartening. And I'm not going to beat this dead horse any further because people are just getting out of control upset about it. It sucks. I understand. I hate the fact that someone can get one over on me and let alone the community, which I support. I hate it. But in the end, no matter what you do, no matter how you try to prevent this from happening, it's really hard to do. And I was lucky enough to meet two people that manage the website for Toy Tokyo. We're going to bring them on an episode and sort of explain bots. I know that we try to do a little bit of a description, but these guys are experts and they're also sneakerheads. And if you know what a sneakerhead is, these are sneaker collectors, and they have a market that is just as bad, if not worse, than the way that Funko is, because some of those sneakers, when they come out and you buy them, they're like Yeezys or something. They're selling them for like $2,500 when you buy them. And the bots and everything that's involved in that, super crazy. And Funko makes enough money that they can circumnavigate bots or spend the extra money in doing it. I mean, the only way that I would recommend is just doing a lottery. Just saying, hey, we got Emerald Chrome Batman. Enter the lottery to win. Enter with all of your family members, whoever you want to do, to sort of try and pull the odds in your favor. But everyone else can do it, so it's even. Unless you're somebody with no family, then I apologize. then you just cross your fingers. But a lottery system is the only way that's cheap right now that you can ensure that not one person is going to get 450 things. Now, there could be people that get 7 or 8 things. It's just something that it's just, it makes you sick. But at the end of the day, we love pop, and we're always going to love pop. And these people aren't going to deter us from it. I know a lot of people said they're discouraged in collecting, but that's the common theme. And people, it's the only one I wanted. Me too. I will even say at Emerald City Comic Con, I kind of whined a little bit when I found out that the 1 o'clock time slot for the booth wasn't getting Chrome Batman on Thursday and Friday. And I was like, man, and there were only like 2 or 3 people in line. And I went to the Funko booth to sort of do some reconnaissance to see what I needed to do on Saturday to ensure success. And I'll get to that in a minute. But bots everywhere and not a pop to drink. I'm sorry, everyone who didn't get an Emerald Chrome Batman that wanted one. I know that some of our listeners did. I'm very happy for you. And Piper, I got you one. So there you go. Congratulations, Piper. But we've got something in store for San Diego Comic-Con that I'm not going to mention on the podcast because I got to keep it on the DL to try and get as many people the good pop as we can. So we'll see. we'll revisit that come July time and SDCC. And hopefully we get the items that our listeners want. Now, you've heard me say the words Emerald City Comic Con, ECCC, so many times that it makes you want to bash your head against the wall. And I know that's true. You can't deny it because I want to bash my head against the wall every time I hear it myself. But I'm going to do the review anyways. We're going to do the ECCC Revisited right here, right now, and close this episode out. So I'm going to start with the Funko HQ. Now, getting to Emerald City Comic Con for me was a complete and utter nightmare of a process. I had business travel earlier in the week where I was sick and I had to leave Orlando to fly to Seattle. So I leave Orlando on Wednesday evening to fly to Seattle. I go through Dallas Fort Worth in a connecting flight, and it starts pouring buckets everywhere. And they delay our flight. It's thunderstorming. It's terrible. I mean, if you know Texas, thunderstorm season kind of comes in around this time. And it was a nightmare to get up in the air. But when we did, it was the bumpiest flight that I've ever been on. I think ever. And I've been on tons of flight. I was in the military and C-130s and all of that stuff. It's probably for the amount of time I was in the air and the bumpiness of the ride. It was a bumpy ride. So that's irrelevant because I get there, I go directly to the Funko HQ and I meet Jimmy. Jimmy, what's up, Jimmy? Shout out on the podcast to Jimmy for standing with me in the freezing cold for, 9 hours or something. And we stood there and froze, and we stood there and froze, and we stood there and froze, and we stood there and froze. And that's still an understatement, folks, because it was cold. It was in the 30s. There were drunk homeless people taking signs and sitting them out in the middle of the street. And I can't even repeat what the dude said. But it was funny because there's a couple guys in line. The guy takes this detour sign, and it's one of those foldable detour signs, and he goes and puts it in the middle of the street right in front of Funko HQ. And we're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And this other guy in line comes up to me. He's like, what are you doing, man? He's like, edited for audiences. And the homeless guy goes, hey, who are you, Mr. Funko? Are you going to tell me, Mr. Funko? Tell me what to do. And the guy's like, yep, I'm Mr. Funko. And you're on my property. You need to move the sign. And the guy's completely drunk. And he's just like, he starts taking road cones out in the middle of the road and just starts building this fortress of road cones and detour signs in the middle of the street. And the guy in line starts pulling the cones away from him. And he's like, hey, man, you just need to get out here. He's like, Mr. Funko here wants to tell me that I've got to leave. Ooh, Mr. Funko, big man, Mr. Funko, I can't be here. He's like, yep, I'm Mr. Funko, man, and you need to get out of here. And finally, the cops show up and shoo him off. And we get the sign out of the road and put it on the side of the building. But thanks to the Everett Police Department there on aiding us in our, I guess, adversity against the homeless people of Everett. And Jimmy knows. The dude goes and puts his drinks down right in front of where Jimmy's chair was in line. He's like, oh, man, this guy. Luckily, he didn't sit down in Jimmy's chair and was hurried off. So that was an eventful night, but I met a ton of people in line on Thursday morning right before HQ opened, and I was able to get everything in there. I did notice that people were going through the line multiple times. Now, Funko has a 1 item per person policy, but that means you go through the line, you check out, you get 1 item. You go to the back of the line, you check out, you get 1 item. You go to the back of the line, you check out, you get 1 item. You go to the back of the line, check out, and get 1 item. People were just, man, they got multiple Pulpos, multiple baseball Freddies, multiple of the Bigfoots. And some people were getting 15 and 20 of the blue-green Bigfoots. The first day, I didn't do it because I was like, I didn't even know it existed. I was like, I saw people get in line, and I thought to myself, maybe I should do this. But I just got in my car and went to the convention hall. Now, on Friday morning, I was there at Funko HQ, and I met with Talkin' Pops. Now, if you guys haven't listened to Talkin' Pops, they're another Funko-related podcast. They cover new releases and just have some general hilarious banter that goes back and forth. And it was amazing meeting those guys at HQ. They were in line too, and just gracious people, really nice people, and they have a great podcast too. So if you want to listen to Funko podcasts, just put both of ours together back to back. You can listen to one on your morning drive and finish the day out with the other. So, big shout out to those guys at Talking Pops. And again, if you listen to their podcast and you love it, just give them a rating and review because it goes a long way. And I say the same for our podcast as well. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review. It goes a long way in pushing out the Alliance's message to all the other pop collectors out there. And that's what we need. We need a strong, strong, strong community to combat flipping and to help everyone out. But we were there Friday, and I did get in line. I did get in line like 3 times, and I was able to get extra stuff. If you are a Patreon subscriber for one of the Grail boxes, you will more than likely be happy if that's one of the items that you wanted. If not, then you got a good item for trade. But I have to take a step back and say, you know what? If these guys are going in line multiple times, then I got to do it too. And I wish I could have got something for everybody and just been able to give it to everyone for cost plus shipping. But we're at a stage in our listenership where I can't just get something for everyone. I've got to make it fair for everyone, like Funko should, and do raffles or not raffles, but the cost plus shipping events, and put them into the boxes for our Patreon subscribers because I mean they're supporting us, and I'm not saying everyone else who isn't supporting us you don't get the same treatment. And maybe I'll throw something in as a giveaway, but those are grails. At the end of the day, it was an overnight grail, and that's what we are standing for our Patreon subscribers, getting them the things that they can't get on their own or things that are going to be great for trade for them. But I just fought fire with fire on Friday and went to the Funko HQ again and ended my day at Emerald City Comic Con. On Saturday, go to the Funko booth. So man, I'm just a novice, right? And what's funny is I've been to San Diego Comic-Con. I've been to these other big conventions, and I've always just been this naive guy who's just nice and likes to talk to people and not notice everything. Well, over the past 2 years, once I was a reseller and I sold Funko stuff at conventions and got things direct from Funko to help collectors out, I became transformed. And there's things that I did to just see how things work, like whether waffles or flipping. I didn't flip necessarily, but there's some items that they would be marked up, but they wouldn't be flipped. And just to live this life and see a collector's perspective from both being just a general collector, a reseller, a flipper, and a waffler, to just get this full experience and see how everyone reacts and to put yourself into somebody's shoes and to see what it means to want to get something that's a lot of value and how angry it makes you when you're trying to make money and you can't get the item that you want to make the money that you need. And I know a lot of people that do that because they need extra money. And I know that there's people that are going to condemn them. That's perfectly fine. I'm not judging anyone here, and I never judge anyone. It's just something that was important to me to really figure out the bottom line in that. And like I said earlier, at conventions, I have always been this naive guy that's just been so nice and talked to people and seen how people do stuff and how the lines work and all that. But this is the first time I really dove into what it meant and how convoluted this process is and how people take advantage of people. And I can't say that I'm completely disheartened, but it bums you out sometimes because there are people there going to people in line, and there's targets, right? There's older people that people want to go up to and see if they're buying something, one of everything, and they just buy directly from people. And they'll be in line this to be like, oh, there's a green chrome Batman that I really want. Do you mind purchasing that for me? Here's $15. They don't even give them extra money. And if they break down and say, no, I can't, then they'll be like, I'll give you $50 for it, or I'll give you $100 for it. And I'm not opposed to this. Like, get extra if you want to get extra, if you're helping people out or whatever you need to do. I'm not going to judge people for that. But what I'm going to say is, as the leader or one of the leaders of the Pop Collectors Alliance, it is my duty to benefit the collectors community. So from now on, I'm going to get as many as I could. I got one because I saw how people were just taking advantage of people. And I'm like, you know what? Somebody wants one of these. I'm going to honestly be honest and transparent with the people in line. I'm going to say, hey, I want an extra one for my co-host because it's something that he'll really love. I'm not going to resell this, and all these people are going to resell it. I'm really going to give it to Piper. I was able to meet amazing people in line that were willing to help us out, fellow online media people at I Smell Sheep. You can check out what they have at ismellsheep.com. I did not say that I was going to promote this for them giving me a Batman, but I feel just to help people out, man, it's a good thing to just, if people are going to be nice and help you out and trust you, I'm going to go an extra mile for them. So go to ismellsheep.com. They do articles on their website. They have videos on YouTube where they review things and cover specific topics. They were very nice. I spoke to Katie about what they do. They seem very passionate about it, which is inspiring to me. And I'm just so grateful for them to trust me and know that I'm not going to resell this pop and it's going to Piper for a good cause for my co-host who really wanted an Emerald City Batman. And I was able to get it for him. So thank you guys at I Smell Sheep. It meant a lot to me and I'm sure to Piper, as you'll find out next week. But that's just another item on this is the people that you meet at these conventions, because when you go to any convention, and I've been to tons of them, it's a lot of waiting in line. And when you wait in line, you got to pass time and you talk to people. And there were people that helped me out get extra things that I wanted. There's people that helped me out in coaching me on getting through the line here at Emerald City Comic Con and the policies and procedures they do there. And what's so amazing about that is the people that you meet are going to go with you down the road. And I'm sure I'm going to meet a lot of these people back at San Diego Comic-Con, if not New York City Comic-Con. And they're just great people. They're fellow collectors who want to help people out and do the right thing. And that's so inspiring. I can say that my overall experience at Emerald City Comic-Con was great. Now, there were two things that I point out that I did not like that happened. And it's something that is occurring at every event, but it's okay. I mean, I understand it, right? So there is an ADA line there, American with Disabilities Act line, that lines up beside the other lines. And these are people that have conditions, people that have disabilities. And me, I'm a disabled veteran. And I could get an ADA badge if I wanted to, but however, I did not get an ADA badge. I just got a regular badge and went in. Now, I got there at 6 in the morning on Saturday to go and get the item that I wanted, and that was the Green Chrome Batman. And what I'd been told the days before, that there was like 2 Green Chrome Batmans left and 7 Green Chrome Batmans left between the 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock times for the Funko line. Now, I knew I had to get there early, and I knew I needed to have a game plan. So I went to the Funko booth and I said, hey, I'm going to get here early for the 1 o'clock. Where do I wait? I was thinking about just waiting here in line and allowing people to go by me and just say, okay, I'm the first in the 1 o'clock line. They said, that's great. Just wait here at this rope. You'll be fine. I go in the next day. I get there at 6 a.m., bright, early, in line. Met a nice dude named Jeff there. Talked to him, and he was cool. So shout out to Jeff if you listen to the podcast. Got into the convention line where they stage you, waited there for like 2 hours. And the ADA line was to our right, and there was a lot of Funko fanatics in there. There was a lot of people who collect Funko, and you're allowed one handler with you depending on what your disability is. And you could see a lot of +1s in there. They let that entire line go before me, and this is people that hadn't been there until like 10 in the morning, right when the convention hall opened. They just let that entire line go. So I'm kind of frustrated, and I rush over to the booth. You can't run, but people were running. And I stand where I was going to stand. And I was like, okay, well, I'm in the 1 o'clock line. They told me to stand here and let everyone go by me. Is that the case? And he's like, man, you can't stand here. You got to go get in the 1 o'clock line. It's around the corner. I get around the corner and there's like 13 people in line. I'm like, oh, I immediately flip on my baby switch and I just go, oh. And man, it's the first time I've been a little bit whiny about a pop. I'll admit it. I'll go out there and say I was being a baby. I was like, oh man, it's the only one I wanted. I'm not going to get it. I'm like 15th in line at the 1 o'clock showing. And there's just so much intricacy that goes into planning for this event and ways to circumnavigate the system. So I found that I get press passes when I go to events. I cover it from the pop perspective, or another podcast on Astro Panda Productions. And I've always done this where you get a press pass. It's one pass that's for the length of the convention. Now, as you know, in the lottery of any convention, it's based on the ticket that you get. In Emerald City Comic Con, you have to enter your ticket number to get in the lottery. Well, instead of buying a 4-day pass, people bought an individual ticket for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Each one of those tickets is an individual ticket. And each one of those tickets can be entered as a spot in line in the Funko booth. Yes, you heard it here. That is a way to sort of increase your odds. Now, there was families of 5 and 6 people, kids and adults, who all got 1-day passes for every day at the convention and entered into the Funko lottery. Because I kept seeing the same people there every day. And I was like, how in the world are they in line? Well, some of these people got like 8 or 9 tickets. That's a strategy. Another strategy is going up to people and saying, hey, can you buy this for me? Well, you know what? At San Diego Comic-Con, we got something special for the flippers out there. We're going to show everybody there what it means to enter the no flip zone. But I'm not going to announce it yet because I don't want people to be able to combat what we're going to do, but big plans to beat that. So I get in the line, and luckily for me, out of like the 17 or 18 people that were in front of me, only really like 4 of them were buying things at the 1 o'clock and had a ticket for a 1 o'clock line. Everyone else was general admission. They were just trying to get there early. So I got up in line and waiting in line, and I saw, a couple transactions for those green Batmans for $500 right in front of my face. And I mean, I will apologize to the people that were listening to me there. I was not very, I don't know, let's say I was not in a great mood. So I was being a little pouty baby, and I'll admit it. I wish I had a baby sound effects. Yeah, yeah. That's Rick at the convention, but I was able to get up in line, and of all the days, they had the most left on Saturday. They had like 27 or something left from the 10 o'clock hour to the 1 o'clock hour. And I just lucked out. I mean, completely lucked out. I met with the Funko Funcast there, talked to the guys there, talked to Sully a couple times, met with Talking Pops, met with I Smell Sheep, met with all these people that do podcasts and online media, met with people who listen to the podcast, people who are now listening to the podcast. And if I talk to you there, man, it was amazing talking to you. It was amazing hearing your collector stories. And it's something I always love about this hobby, and that totally inspires me to do what I'm doing and to help people out, because not everybody is ruthless enough to go up to someone and ask them to buy a pop. And I wouldn't say ruthless is the best word used for it, but not everyone is upfront and not afraid to come up to a stranger and say something, say, hey, do you mind buying a pop for me? And for that's what we're here for. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to help the collectors out with when we go to these conventions and try to get things. And our Patreon subscribers and our listeners, you're both going to benefit for this alike. If you can't subscribe on Patreon, don't worry. You're going to get added bonuses in some of these cost shipping events and some of these giveaways that we do, because we value everybody, whether you support us monetarily or not. We're not asking for your money. You don't have to give us your money. We give you added bonuses for supporting us, and we appreciate that. We appreciate everyone that has supported us. We never thought in a million years we would launch a Patreon and sell out immediately, and we did pretty much over a weekend. And if you want good things, there's still good things on the Patreon list, and there's still going to be exclusive things that are only to Patreon members because they're paying for the alliance as well. But we thank everyone that really supports us. And I really thank everyone that I met that was so kind to talk to me and tell me their collector stories at Emerald City Comic Con. And Seattle was just a welcoming city and a beautiful city. And I recommend, if you haven't been there, that you go and check things out. And Emerald City Comic Con is wrapped up, and we're revisiting it here. But I'll tell you one thing, it was worth every second. It was so amazing to be there. And I was cautious about going there and kind of hesitant because, yeah, it's a big con, but it's not San Diego Comic Con. It's not New York City Comic Con. But I'll tell you one thing, it is just as good as both of those on that level. And the people that you meet in line, don't take that for granted. Look over, talk to your fellow collector while you're in line. talk about stuff because it's so awesome. You never know if you're standing beside somebody with the biggest collection that Funko has to offer or someone who's just started out, and everybody looks at this hobby in a different light. And every time I go to a convention and talk to people, this is what I learn. And you guys are just awesome, and you support us, and we're bringing you this content because of that. So I just want to say a thank you to all our listeners too. A shout out to Jimmy for being there with me and standing in the cold weather while our toes froze off again. A shout out to I Smell Sheep, and go to ismellsheep.com because they were cool enough to get Piper an extra Emerald City Comic Con Batman. And I will tell you one thing, he is happy. And you guys, if you listen to this podcast, know that it's going to him. And he's going to get it. And we're going to put that on video. And we're going to capture that. But Flat Piper is holding on to it for him right now. And the Funko personnel, they were awesome there too, talking to the Funko Funcast. And there was events that I missed because I needed to get footage and stuff. So I need to bring a bigger crew with me next time, and I will do that. So Emerald City Comic-Con is in the wraps. The last time you're going to hear me say ECCC this episode, I'm going to bring in my son for a small segment now, sort of to finalize this Emerald City Comic-Con. So a big thank you to everybody. I was super glad to be there. I know you've heard my voice for so long this episode, and there's no Piper in there to break up the monotony and the craziness that I bring to the episode in my rambles. But he will be back next week, I promise you. So now we have joining us my son Noah, and he wants to talk a little bit about ECCC. And we have big things on the horizon for him. Maybe do some kid pop hunts with him on our YouTube channel and things that we're standing up. So without further ado, we're going to do a small segment for a kid's review of ECCC with Noah. All right, so my son Noah, as you guys know, we've posted a couple pictures, I think, of the pop hunts that he's gone on with me. He's an avid pop collector. He helped me get, I forget, what's the item that you woke me up the other day for?
Yondu.
Yondu. You said he was back online. He came and woke me up out of bed and said Yondu's back up on Target. And that's the only reason I was able to order him online for you guys. So you guys can all give Noah a round of applause. And he just does everything. He checks Pop Price Guide for me. He lets me know when there's things that I don't even know that are coming up or announced, or things go live on the internet. He's always checking Walmart, Target, and all of the above to help me out. And I brought him on today to sort of discuss what was his Emerald City Comic Con experience. He didn't go with me, but from a pop perspective. So like we did on a couple episodes ago, I'm going to ask Noah a couple questions and let him tell us what he thinks. So Noah, what was your favorite Emerald City Comic Con pop and why?
Green Chrome Batman, because the chrome is really solid, really cool looking, and hopefully they make a rainbow chrome Batman with like every color.
Oh, like the New York City Comic Con one?
Yeah, but it's all chrome.
Chromed one. Did you see the chrome Infinity Wars pops, the Thanos, the Spider-Man, and the Iron Man?
I saw them online on Facebook, and I think they're going to be really cool if you have them.
Yeah, we need to buy them. I think a couple of our listeners got them. So the Emerald Chrome Batman was your favorite pop. Okay. What was your least favorite pop?
My least favorite pop would be the Fi exclusive Poison Ivy.
Oh, okay. That's not a pop, but the rock candy.
It's a vinyl.
The rock candy.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be my least favorite ECC.
Yeah, he really doesn't like any of the other lines that Funko has to offer. He is primarily a pop and mystery minis guy. So yeah, it's understandable. I didn't like it that much either. We saw it yesterday, didn't we? Wasn't it in FYE when we went there?
Yeah.
So we saw it there. It was on the back shelf, and we left it there for sure. What would you say that you would want, any pop that you can think of? What would you put, or tell Funko rather, to put into San Diego Comic-Con? What would be the number one pop you would want at San Diego Comic-Con?
I'm gonna tell two because I think they're both Rainbow Chrome Batman.
Rainbow Chrome Batman. You heard that, Funko. So Rainbow Chrome Batman. That's your number one, right? That's the one.
Yes.
Okay. What's your number two?
It is gonna be Doomfist. He has skins where he pulls back his fist, and he has really cool skins, like a metal skin. He has like a Hawaiian skin.
Oh, so you want a different variant of him with a skin that's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Yes.
Kind of like maybe they do Maybe they do something like Frieza. Remember Frieza from a couple years ago where they did the red eyes and they also did just the regular golden? Maybe they can do 2 versions of Doomfist. And if you don't know who Doomfist is a character on Overwatch. And it's one of the characters that my son kicks butt at because he does a really good job and kills a bunch of people with Doomfist. So Doomfist is your number 2. Chrome Rainbow Batman. So a Chrome version of the Rainbow Batman from New York City Comic Con, right?
Hopefully it would be New York City, because that's where they had the regular original Rainbow Chrome Batman at.
Okay, so if you're saying if they don't make it at San Diego, make it for New York City Comic Con.
Because they already made the rainbow at the first, one of the first, not first, 2016 or 2017.
Yeah, you got it, 2016.
And hopefully you guys will like if it comes out a Rainbow Chrome Batman, because that's the first thing I'd be checking every day.
What about Noob Noob? You don't care about Noob Noob?
Oh, and plus Dad had a Noob drawing that was really cool. Noob.
So you heard it first. Noah is part of the Noob Noob moment. Thanks for taking time with us, Noah, and thanks again for making sure that I got a Yondu for everyone. Well, not for everyone, but for a couple people.
And hashtag super noob.
Hashtag super noob with the outfit. So yeah, it's awesome that I got the drawing. If you didn't see the video, you can check it out on our page on Facebook, or if you're in the group, check it out there too. I did a live video where I showed everyone noob covered in doo-doo.
Best exclusive ever.
So that was Noah, and he joined us for the kids review this week. If you like what you hear and you want to hear more kids reviews, let us know. info@popcollectorsalliance.com. I didn't do a lot of social media stuff because it's just a recap. I don't want to beat you guys with it, but I'm going to beat you with it at the end of the episode. So if you're done listening, you could just go, whoop, I'm not going to listen to the social media plug here. But as always, you can see everything that we do at astropandaproductions.com or go to blogtalkradio.com/astropanda to see the other podcasts on our network. Also, you can follow the Pop Collectors Alliance on Twitter and Instagram at Pop Alliance Pod. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Pop Collectors Alliance. There's a link to our group in there, but I'll give you the direct link to them. That is facebook.com/groups/Pop Collectors Alliance to join our Facebook group. And last but not least, you can go to our website, sign up for our newsletter. There's going to be newsletter subscriber drawings. You can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Pop Collectors Alliance. If you want to give back to the Alliance or help us out in any way, we got some unique content that's going to be releasing there. As I've told you guys before, you'll hear the outtakes episodes and a special little after show that we did when we were doing the Forever Funko Fridays at Target. So thank you guys once again. And just the support has just been overwhelming, and we really appreciate that. And until next time, I'm Rick with no Piper. Good night. I love you.